Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Michael. We're talking about let's start something, starting a conversation about. Um, right now, I'm going to talk about just fentanyl because that's my focus. If you've seen any of these videos, you know what I'm talking about. Now, fentanyl was created in 1959 in a patch in order to help people with pain. It has evolved quite a bit since then. People were just cutting up the patch and putting it in their cheek and enjoying a little buzz from that. I've even known a guy who almost killed himself trying to draw the poison that's inside that patch into a syringe and shoot it. He damn near killed himself. So I don't know where he's at, if he's even still alive. I mean, when you're trying shit like that, you're doing it because you're looking for a high that you no longer get because all you're doing is surviving and your brain is thinking, man, I don't want to be sick. And it goes from getting high to being sick, and then it's about survival. Your brain is all your brain is thinking is, man, I don't want to be sick. All your body's thinking, I don't want to be sick. So it becomes more like a hassle than a pleasure real quick. I mean, think about it. I was homeless for 2 years, okay, and I was doing fentanyl off and on, methamphetamines, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But I'm going to tell you that it wasn't a party situation. I was not enjoying myself at all every day. I was miserable, especially since my legs were pretty much trash and I can barely walk, and I had to force myself to get around until I couldn't move anymore, and then I ended back in the hospital, several times. But anyways, earlier we were talking to Stuart. Now Stuart has been given 2 weeks to live. Now I'm hoping he gets 6 months to a year. Please pray for him, because life is precious. Every minute you get is precious, and I believe he understands that. Now he's been an opiate addict for about 30 years, but he didn't start doing any blues until a few months ago. Guess what? He had 15 people he knew die from this particular drug in a few months. I've had at least 5 or 6 that I know of die from this drug. It killed me once, and some guy I knew all of about 10 minutes brought me back to life, but thank God. But that's twice I got killed by opiates. Once when I was a kid, then with the fentanyl stuff. So I have a friend of mine, Curtis, here, and I want you to pay attention to what he says, because he's going to talk about how these type of things can kill people. His wife and some friends of his, and so please pay attention to his story as I interview him for this process. The idea is we're just starting a conversation. Each person has a story to tell, and as you learn it and understand it, it should help you find help, or at least give you hope, because we're doing the right thing at the moment. I'm doing everything to stay clean, and I plan to do this and what I'm doing now for a living, and it hasn't been done that I know of before. I know there's some addiction, whatever you can find on Facebook. But on my Facebook, you will find mostly videos like this talking about let's start something, because I care about my community. I care about Arizona and Phoenix as a whole. I've lived here my whole life, some of 45 years, and I've never seen anything like this particular drug, fentanyl. And here they call it fentanyl blues because they come in a little blue pill with an M on it, and they kill people when they smoke them, kill people when they snort them, kill people when they inject them, and I've done all three. And I took 3 hits off of one time, and I was dead. So this is a killer, and I want to make sure that you know as a community what it's doing to our community. When you drive down the street and you see several people doing like a foil thing and they're smoking shit right at the bus stop or a QT or a Circle K or a gas station, the canals, it's all over, it's rampant, and it's very cheap. And I like to say, if you got $100, you can get 100. Next thing you know, you become a user and a dope dealer because you're trying to survive. But if you only got a few bucks, you'd be lucky to get a couple for $10 or maybe $15. So that's how it works. More money you got, more pills you get. That's how much it's out there. Grandma is going to sell it to you, and a grade school kid, you're going to be hearing them walking around, I got the blues. Why? Because it's easy money, but they don't realize how dangerous it is and what they're doing to our streets. They're killing people, all right? So I'm not angry at the man or the people who developed this and what they're doing. I get what they're trying to do, trying to make some money. I don't know where the money goes. I don't care what they do with it. They're not from this country. It comes from Mexico. Some of that product comes from China, but mostly from the States, because guess what? We invented it back in 1959. It's a synthetic drug, and it's 100 times more potent than morphine. So think about what I'm saying. I'm trying to get this stuff I'm trying to get you to get the information out. So if you see this, copy it and post it. My friend's name is Curtis. We're going to talk about his story a little bit. So check it out. What's up, Curtis?
Not much, man. I'm from Kentucky. I've lived in Florida, been in Jerusalem, stuff like that. I came out here in 2012, and I met a lady that became my wife. She was a heavy alcoholic. And 2015, June 6th, I had to pull the plug on her, so she's going to arrest.
I'm sorry. Hold on just a second. No, go ahead. You keep going.
And then
Step.
a few years later on, I met some other people, and then I started getting into meth. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, the blues started coming out, and blues are taking over meth, spice, whatever kind of drug that are out there. You know, I mean, I had some heroin one time. I was trying to sell it, and I had a guy looked at me and said, "I want that. I want blue." You know, so it's like the
Right.
blues is taking over everything.
Right. I did the
And
same
it's
thing.
Like they want more of that.
Right.
I've tried it. And I just nodded out and wake up, threw up, like what heroin does to you. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's kind of
like
silly,
a high,
right?
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's like a stupid high because you're not even awake for the drug. You don't even get to
Right,
enjoy it.
you don't
You're
get
all
to
of a sudden
enjoy it.
you're nodding into your shirt and you're drooling all over yourself, and people
Right.
are stealing your stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic drug, isn't it?
I've had a few friends that's died. I have to Narcan some people before to get them back alive.
Well, interesting. You brought that up. How many friends have you had die from fentanyl or opioid addiction?
Probably say about 20 something.
And in the last year, 2 years, 5 years?
Since probably 2017.
All right. Okay, so 20 people since 2017. Not just fentanyl, because it really didn't take over the streets until
Right.
about 2020.
Right. It was like morphine, and or they were doing heroin, or they were doing meth, or whatever kind of high that they were doing. I've seen them do LSD, just all kinds of stuff. I'm from Kentucky, like I said. I've smoked pot, I've done LSD, I've done cocaine, but then somebody introduced me spice. I
Right.
tried it, and no, not again.
Yeah, I remember the first time I tried spice with my wife, and I curled up in the ball like a baby for 30 minutes, and she's all, "It'll be okay," and I'm like, "Don't fucking touch me," right? I was so paranoid and so out of my head after a few hits of that shit, I never wanted to touch it again, and I didn't pick it up until I started getting strung out on meth, because I needed something to take the edge off, and it was
Right.
cheap.
The easiest thing about it is with this meth, or not meth, but the blues, the fentanyl stuff, they basically do it so much, and when it kind of starts coming down, the body starts aching, hurting, and they need that hit to take care of the pain, and they just can't think right, and it's wild how, the blues is taking over Phoenix and stuff, and in Arizona, and pretty soon it's going to be taking over the world.
Right. That's what it feels like, doesn't it?
Meth. I was watching some videos on the Philippines, and it's heavy over there.
Right.
And it's bad. I lost my girlfriend almost 2 years now from a meth mixed fentanyl, and she had pneumonia.
Mm.
She only had like 4% of lung capacity.
Okay, was she on
She was
blues
on
at all?
42.
Did she have a problem
No,
with opiates?
No. She always
So-
smoked meth.
All right, so this
So
meth
somehow or
was
another,
this meth.
somebody
Right.
gave it to her and it was mixed in it.
Okay, so the methamphetamines was cut with fentanyl, right?
Right.
All right, and I've talked to people about that, letting them know that if you're doing meth, you're also doing fentanyl, especially if it's coming from Mexico.
Right.
Now, I'm going to tell people now that white boy dope is not cut with that stuff. We call it white boy dope, right?
Right.
Yeah, because we have.
I know about white boy.
Yes, you do, and I do too. So the brothers, the fellas, Aryan Nation, and all that. Not to put anybody out there, but of course they make it and supply it, and there's no names being called. So don't call me up and say I'm a snitch, because I'm not. I did 13 years in Department of Corrections, so I'm not that dude.
I've done 14 years.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting thing. Not to poke any fun at you, but what is your nationality?
Native American. I'm also Irish, Dutch, Czechoslovakian, Norse, and
So you meant Norse, right? Like North, like Viking,
right.
right? Okay. What about the Israel blood? What's going on there?
I am Jewish.
Okay, so you're brought up Jewish,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you have converted over to what?
Eclectic.
All right, so you're an Asatru,
Right.
right? See that? You can see it on his chest right there. That's a hammer, right? Associated with Asatru. It's never to touch the ground, never to come off the neck. It's very important. I know all about it. Learned about it in prison. I'm a Christian. I don't believe in any of that stuff, but I do kind of admire the folklore and all that stuff. So I'm into it, but I definitely know that the Lord saved me a long time ago, and if He wasn't in my life, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I'm not banging on you or nothing. You know that I'm not like that person. You know what I mean? So no argument there.
I do know and hold true to some of the Christian beliefs.
Okay, so with that, your wife, you said your wife died from alcohol, right?
Right.
And
my girlfriend passed away of meth and fentanyl.
Okay.
With pneumonia.
And that was how long ago?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, probably during the height of the pandemic, right?
It was last year on New Year's Day.
All right, so not quite the height of the pandemic, but just after it, right?
After, yeah.
Okay, so for the public, you guys may not know this. I'm gonna go ahead and share this with you. We're at a stage of what they call the endemic. Okay, they're no longer freaking out about it. The CDC gives you about 5 days to be clean of it. Once you get it, you're no longer what is the term? Infectious. You know what I mean? You're not going to get anybody sick after 5 days. So, and normally most viruses are you're good after 3 days, but this one's 5 days. Kind of interesting, right? So, and we've had problems with COVID here, haven't we?
Yes, what happened?
Yeah, we lost a good friend. His name was Fred. Isn't that right?
Oh.
Yeah. Not from that particular disease, but when he got it, it was a wrap because he was already terminally ill. Correct?
Right.
All right. So, yeah, God bless Fred. I've shared with that on Facebook. He was about as big as a pencil, but he was cool as hell, and he was very giving, and he used to be a golf instructor. So I'm trying to mention his name and what he does and who he came from to immortalize him. Same with you, right? You know, once I put you on video on Facebook, if I can keep that going, you're going to live forever, no matter if you're in the ground or not. And I appreciate your time and your effort to share with your story, not just about your wife, but about, what about your mom?
My mom, she's great.
She's still alive? And your dad?
My sperm donor is not. I'll call him dad because of the stuff that he did to me, my little sister.
Yeah, no, I understand. You don't have to tell that part, but I get that.
My stepdad, my pops, that's my pops.
All right, that's what's up.
He's alive. You know?
Right.
He's been with my mom since I was 13. I'm 50.
Right, and same thing with my stepkids. I've never called them my stepkids. I've always called them my kids.
Right.
My oldest her name is Ariana, and my youngest would have been Willis, and Willis Michael Fleener. I lost him a year and a half ago to a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It devastated me because I was homeless. I had all kinds of bad thoughts about myself, shame, guilt, anger, rage. That's what came up the first time. And man, I tried to take every drug I could to either kill myself or drown that pain. It just didn't happen. It made me miserable. And I can't imagine what it did to my wife, because she's actually his blood mother. I'm his stepfather, but I adopted those children as they were mine from the first day I met them. Even if I didn't tell them right away, I knew they were going to be my kids. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, her freaking dad is a piece of shit. All right, and I don't mind saying that because he is. I invited this man into my living room and gave him a chance to be the dad he always should have been. I said, hey, look, what is your plan for her? Are you going to take care of her? Are you going to, make her name your name? Are you going to do the right thing? Because if not, I plan on adopting her. I'm going to give her my name, and I'm going to take care of her. And he says, I don't care. Right in front of her, as if though it's no big deal.
Right.
Crushed her, man. I'm sure it did. Later on, he started, giving her gifts and stuff, but it kind of too late for that shit. She hates his guts, and I've always been her dad. Right now, she hates my guts because of what I've gone through, but she's no different. She's an addict, and she's just trying to get her life together, probably for the best that we don't have any communication for the time being. But I love her and my grandkids. So you can understand where I'm coming from, right?
Right.
All right. I understand where you're coming from, the losing of family, the losing of friends, and that's the whole idea. What's your name again?
Curtis.
What's your last name? Breeding. Like he's breeding right now.
My first name is Curtiss. Kurt is breeding.
Breeding, yeah. He's knocked up all the women here, I'm just saying. But no, I'm just kidding. Anyways, Curtis is a really good dude. He was my roommate for a while. I kind of miss him. My roommate name now is like Dave. His name is Dave, and he's 73, and like he moves like a snail. Poor guy's got the worst freaking hernia I've ever seen, ever. Like, I don't want to ever see that man with his pants off again. I'm scared to death.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Wow.
I'll tell you about that later. But anyways, not to embarrass him, but maybe I'll talk to him later on camera. Might be cool. All right, so I'm going to flip it around to me and kind of close this out, all right?
All right.
All right, God bless you, Curtis. I thank you for your time.
Bless y'all. Thank you.
Okay, so again, what we're doing is we're trying to start the conversation. I interviewed Curtis and I interviewed Stuart tonight. I'm so sad about his story, but he's taking it pretty good. But I asked him, hey, you're hiding the pain, right? Yeah, I do a very good job of that as well. Right now, I'm not feeling a lot of pain. I feel more free and more happy than I've been in years. The reason being is not only just because I'm clean, because I have this huge idea that I know is going to be successful to help not only you, me, Curtis, and everybody else who's interested to wipe this drug off the planet. I don't have to create a war. I don't need an army. I don't need an M16, an SR-15. Yeah. Anyways, or an SKS or an AK-47 or anything, an M4. Those are all cool. A 30-06, a shotgun, a 9mm, a Ruger. I probably played with most of them, but anyways, I'm not allowed to touch one right now because I'm a felon, but eventually I hope to get that fixed because I love shooting. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't even want to kill animals. I just love to have a gun because I'm so good at shooting. I'm a dead shot. But anyways, the last time I went shooting was with my old man. I lost him 3 months before I got out of prison in 2018, December 28th. I was told 30 minutes before I had to lead people into worship. I was the lead singer and worship leader for the Yard in Yuma, and the chaplain, him and I were really good friends. So he called me into his office about 30 minutes before we had to get on stage and before I had to sing and I had to make all this. I have to bring in the joy and call on the Spirit so people would just be free at the time. That's all. People just need to know that even though they're locked up, they're free inside, and that takes a lot of effort. But so he told me 30 minutes before I had to go on, and I did shed a tear, one little tear. I did not freak out like I did with my son. That nothing can prepare you for the loss of a child, and especially he was my only son, even not my blood son, but he was my son, and I miss him. So I'm trying to get on for that so I don't have to. I love him and I miss him a lot. I didn't lose him to this drug, but maybe if I was better than I was, I could have prevented the death. I don't know. I gave him every right and believe in the right to bear arms, and he had his own gun. He was drunk and he accidentally shot himself. I don't know all the details. I just know that he did, and I lost him. By the grace of God, 1.5 hours before that took place, I got to say that I love him. He said that he loves me, and I'll see him later. And it was at least I got to say goodbye in a way. So, not to make you sad. I don't want to make you sad. I just want you to be happy and know that I'm happy because, it took me a long time to get over his death, and I don't know if I still properly mourn, but I know that he's in a better place, and I'm mad that he beat me to it. I would have rather it have been me than him because he had such a bright future ahead of me. He was a rapper. I seen him entertain. He didn't have the ability to entertain yet, like have stage presence, but he could just rap and just take over the crowd, and I thought he was awesome. And so was. I can't think of his name. His best friend at the time. Anyways, I'll get to that later. So I'm glad that I got to introduce Curtis, and the idea that we're doing is just talking about not just our problems, but our history, the friends that we lost to this particular drug. Remember something, it's a blue pill with an M on it. It smells like popcorn when you burn it, and they burn it on tinfoil. You can even smoke it out of a glass pipe if you do it right. You can smoke it out of a bong if you do it right. You can shoot it in a needle if you do it right, and you can snort it if you do it right. But there's no right way to kill yourself. This is going to kill you, and it will kill your friends. I estimate by 2025 or 2030, every family in this state, if not this country, is going to be affected by that damn drug, fentanyl, one way or another, because it is rampant, it's cheap, and people just aren't paying attention to what's going on. They were so caught up early stage of COVID that they kind of like snuck in and took over our streets just like that. I know because I was forced out on the street because of my problems, and I did what I had to do, and I kept away because I was screwed up. I was going through a lot of guilt, remorse, shame, doubt, fear, paranoia that had nothing to do with drugs. It had everything to do with my life and how I used to live it and how that affected me and my family, and I didn't know what to do about it. So I learned that. Now I know that that's the reason why I continued to get high, because I was broken, but I'm no longer broken. I live on my own will and the will of God, and the idea that I have that I can save lives. That's my purpose in life. I'm taking my information, my life, and I'm going to share it with you so you can survive, so you will have people who won't die, especially your friends. I know that this is a killer, a silent killer, because you're never going to see it coming unless I spread the word about how bad it is and where it's at and where to find it. Again, you'll see people at a bus stop, a Circle K, a QT, a gas station, the canals, Tent City, whatever you're talking about, wherever you're at in the city, you'll see it driving down the street. You can get it within a matter of 5 minutes. Okay, so I want you to think about this. Please copy and paste this video to your Facebook, or share it with your friends, or at least let me know what you think of it. Put a comment on there. You know, you can give me a thumbs up. I want to know what you think. And if you're interested, please use the slogan, "Let's start something." I didn't get it licensed. It's a free thing, because it's not charity, it's your civic duty. It is your responsibility as a human being and as a member of this community to make sure you do what you can to help not just yourself, your family, and the kids. I'm really serious about this. This drug is a killer, and we need to get in front of it before it kills everybody, kills our kids, our family, our brothers or sisters, because it's going to happen, man. I'm telling you, if we don't get right now, we don't do what we got to do right now, by 2025 or 2030, this is going to affect all of us, and I don't want to see that happen. You have no idea what I had to go through, and how bad it was to me, and how much I lost because I was just so freaking screwed because of this drug. That there's no way I want you or anybody else to feel that. That is a miserable thing to feel. So I'll explain that later. I'll have more people who will come across and want to do videos. I got a lot of people that are backing this right now. Let me tell you, I'm going to have cars, give people free rides. I'm going to associate myself with hero haulers. I'm going to come up with a name and be a CEO of my own company. Why? Because I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter, and I'm never going to be a quitter. And so I will do whatever I can to help you and help the public. So my name is Michael Merriman. You can get a hold of me at michaelmerriman@onmail.com. That's ONMAIL.com. And you can catch me on Facebook. Look for the nerd that looks like me, that has a freaking mohawk behind some medical equipment, which is called hyperbaric chamber. I was forced to do that for 30 days for 2 hours a day in order to save my leg. God bless Banner University. So, please, I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can, for as long as I'm alive. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to use every outlet, every social media, every news network, everything I can, including marching to the Senate with a lot of people behind me, making sure that we go to the Capitol and do what we got to do and get the laws changed. Get the perspective of drug addicts and drug or alcoholism. It's been around for a long time. It's not the 1920s anymore. Alcohol has been legal for a long time. Marijuana is now legal. Even methamphetamines is legal in some states. A certain amount you can carry around. The reason why I think that's so important is we can develop clinics and safe drugs that people can take, versus taking what they're making in their bathtub, in their toilets, and a bottle of a soda bottle, wherever they're making it at, and how they're making it. I don't care. Those people need to realize that what they're doing is killing not only us, but it's killing them as well. Because what they do here will be right back over there, I promise. So I don't hate on nobody. The idea is I want to help people. I don't care what race you are, what ethnicity, if you're white, black, purple, yellow, I don't give a crap. Please get a hold of me of what I said and hook me up on Facebook. Pass it on if you want to. Tell me what you think, and let's keep it going. You can use my slogan, "Let's start something." Start the conversation. God bless you all. I hope you continue to watch these videos and pass them on. This is an awesome thing we're trying to do, and we need your help. This could be majestic. It could be so cool, so rampant that we can wipe this out if we try. I need your help. God bless you. Have a good night.